Good morning, children. Welcome back with the next new session. So, in this session, we are going to discuss the question and answers from the lesson that we have so far understood, that is lesson number 7, Emergence of Kingdoms and Republics, from 6th standard. Okay, so here I can see there are 13 question and answers from this lesson. So, I'll be reading the question and answers one by one, and if anywhere if you don't understand, I'll just help you to make you understand this. Okay, so here comes the first question. What do you mean by Ganas? How were they different from the kingdom ruled by the kings? Children, they are asking how a Gana is different from the kingdom which is ruled by the kings. So, firstly, we all know that in the lesson itself, I have explained you very clearly that a Gana is where a government where they have given equal importance or equal kind of status given to everyone. Yes, every people in their community is equal. So here in the Gana assembly or the Gana Sabha, Sangham has group of kings, not one king or two kings. Here group of kings will be looking over the welfare of the people in the kingdom there. Okay, now these people used to call themselves as Rajas, unlike where in the kingdom, a kingdom is a territory. Territory means it's an area, huge area, where there will be only one person, either he is a queen or she will be a queen. Okay, any one person, and that too of a same family. Okay, like grandfather has once ruled, next from his son, and then from the next generations, one by one. It's an hereditary one. Okay, but whereas in Ghana kind of a government, only there will be group of people who will be looking for the welfare of the people. That means they are only the kings for that. Okay, they are group of people. Okay, now these Ghana Sangham or the Ghana assembly have a very small area of kingdom. That means their area is not spread. Okay, the area is a small part in the small part in the territory, and that too the decisions whatever they take, they sit together and then they discuss it and then they take a decision. Okay, but whereas in the kingdom what happens, it is the king's duty to take a decision. Okay, it's single monarchy kind of a decision. That means mono means one and archy means rule. Okay, monarchy kind of a government means where there will be only one king. Okay, but in the in the kingdom, decision will be in the hands of only one person, whereas in the Gana Sangham, decisions will be in the hands of few people who are there in the group. Okay, so this is the answer for that. So here comes the second question. Why did the Rajas of Mahajanapadas build forts? Why did the Rajas, that means the kings, why did they build forts? Like first thing is, forts are the places where which have tall walls and all. Okay, why these are built in the Mahajanapadas is, first thing, just to protect their armies or protect themselves from the enemies from neighboring kingdom or neighboring Mahajanapada. Okay, and secondly, all these armies and soldiers place was to place to live was in the fort only. So all these armies and all these armies as well as their soldiers used to live in the fort, and whenever the king wanted to give them any orders or something, he used to call all these people who are living in the fort. They have to come and they have to obey the words of the king here. Okay, so that is the reason why forts were made those days. Okay, so this is the second question. So here comes the third question. Can you point out the difference between the way village and manage it today and in the time of a Mahajanapadas? Okay, so children, this answer you can write in your own words. Okay, so what they are asking is, what kind of a village do we see in the present days? Is it the same that the Mahajanapadas time? So purely it is not. Okay, during that time of Mahajanapadas, as there was a king who so a king will be appointing a person as a headman, that is a grihapati or the gahapati. Okay, so he will be going around all the villages and he will be collecting all the taxes from the people. But now in the present day, our villages, there will be a person known as, there will be a group known as panchayat. Okay, we might have all seen, no, what panchayat is. People are sitting on the floor and some 5 people, okay, are sitting on the chairs, and that is the panchayat scenario. Okay, that means these 5 people are the head of the village. They'll sit, they'll take a decision, they'll discuss the decision before everyone in the village. So this is what happens actually in panchayat. So in the present days, the villages have the panchayat system. Okay, but in those days, panchayat system is not that. There was only one king and he has to take the decisions for the welfare of the people in the villages. Okay, now here comes the fourth question. Find out how the craft persons are taxed by the government today. Was it the same times in was it the same in the times of Mahajanapadas? See children, the concept of collecting the taxes is same. Okay, collecting the concept of taxes is same in that days of Mahajanapadas and today also. Okay, so here in those days, craft persons in the Mahajanapadas were blacksmith, weavers, okay, potters, carpenters. So all these people are known as craft persons. So they have to pay the taxes to the king. Now they may not pay the taxes in terms of money, because whatever things they make, they have to sell them in the market. If they cannot sell them in the market, what will happen? They have to work for the king for at least one day in a month. For one day in a month. For example, a person who is a weaver, whatever clothes he make, he has to present them to the king. Okay, next thing, if he is a potter, whatever clay thing, like mud pots and all, mud vessels and all, he has to give to the king. Okay, and for people like who are this hunters or gatherers, like hunters and all, they have to bring the things from the forest, whatever he gets from the forest, no, so you have to present that thing in the kingdom there. So these are the kind of things they used to present to the king in terms of taxes. Now if they are able to pay the money, they would directly pay. If they are not able to pay the money, they have to give whatever the products they make, they have to give it to them, or otherwise they have to work at least one day in a month. So whereas in the present day, these craft persons, after selling their products, they have to pay the tax in the form of GST, okay, sales tax, property tax. Okay, so there are many more taxes we have in our present day. Okay, so this answer is like this. Okay, now here comes the fifth question. Through what resources do you know about Mahajanapadas? So they are asking, how do you know about the Mahajanapadas? Children, how do we know about Mahajanapadas? So everything which is related to the history today in this present generation, we are able to know only because of two possible happenings. One is, first thing, because of the books or the literatures that are written long back in those days, the books that were written. Okay, if we talk about the epics, that in the last class we have discussed the epics of Mahabharata and Ramayana, we people did not see what has actually happened, but people like Valmiki and Vedavyasa has written in the books there. So we have the books as a we have the books, so we have, after reading those books, we can understand, okay, such situations have happened during those times. Okay, so one thing is because of the literature or the books that are belong to that like that particular historical period time. The other thing is the historical remainings, that means archaeological excavations. Means there are some people known as archaeologists. There are some people are archaeologists. So what they do is, they go to such places where like maybe some kingdoms are there. So what they do is, they dig the land, they find some historical things which belong to some king or some queen, or after just looking to the material, they could understand to what are the requirements of the thing, how long back this thing was used, okay, to which kingdom this belongs to. So every single knowledge these people have. So these are known as archaeologists. Okay, so their work is to know and give the information about the historical things. Okay, so now in the present day, we could able to know about the past only because of either literature or the philosophies, or by the archaeological things that are found by the archaeologists. Okay, next question. Sixth question, write the agricultural practices that led to increase in the agricultural production in the times of Mahajanapadas. So they are asking, what are the reasons why did the agriculture was so benefited, that means so successful in the Mahajanapadas. So firstly, these people, most of the kingdoms, if you have seen the other day, I have shown you the map of India, you have seen there, most of the kingdoms were situated on the banks of the rivers. Okay, most of the kingdoms are situated on the banks of the rivers. The reason is because the rivers, whatever are present, they pushes all the soil towards the banks of the river. That means what Oddu will say, no, Voddu. In the lesson I told very clearly, this water pushes all the soil, that means good quality of soil, towards the edges of the rivers, banks of the rivers. So this soil is used for the cultivation of crops, and moreover, wherever the river water is present, the soil has the soil quality is very good. So such soil are known as fertile soil. Fertile means the soil which has capacity to grow good amount of crops, as good quality of crops as well. Okay, especially food crops are grown, like rice, paddies and all other crops which grow only with a good fertile soil. Okay, so all these soils are available in some like most of the places of Mahajanapadas could avail all these good kind of fertile soil, as well as the water is already there in the rivers. So these two factors helped all the Mahajanapada areas to grow the agriculture, as well as they used the river water, as well as they restored the rain water. They have collected them and they have used it for the agriculture purpose. Okay, so construction of dams, okay, and tanks are all built so that these water can be stored, and in the time when there is no water they can use this water. Okay, these are the two important things. Because of that, the agriculture was so much successful in Mahajanapadas. Okay, next question. Seventh question. The Mahajanapadas developed on the river banks. Do you agree or not? Justify the answer. Yeah, children, just now I told most of the Mahajanapadas place were settled down near rivers only. So that is the reason why they were very much successful for the agriculture. I hope the sixth answer and the seventh answer are same. You will be you'll interrelate to each other and you understand this answer. Okay, next. Eighth question. How do you appreciate the works of craft persons in the times of Mahajanapadas? How do you appreciate the work of the craft persons in the times of Mahajanapadas? Okay, firstly, in those days, blacksmith are the people who make things which are used for agriculture, because agriculture was given a lot of importance. So to practice the agriculture, they need sickle, they need axe. All these things are needed by the farmers. So blacksmith is a person who does all these things and provide all these requirements to the farmers there. Okay, so that is the first important thing. The persons who are potters make the finest pots for storing water or storing any kind of pulses or any kind of grains. Next, carpenter makes carts, bullock carts, okay, furnitures for usage. Okay, weavers make different kinds of cloth which is made available for everyone in the village. Okay, and finally the craft so for these craft persons also have to pay the taxes to the government out of selling everything whatever they make. Okay, now here comes the ninth question. What were the taxes collected by the rulers of Mahajanapadas? Okay, what were the taxes collected by the rulers of Mahajanapadas? Now, first thing, in the lesson I told that Grihapatis are the people who have a lot of lands with their hands, who has a lot of land with in their hands. So people in those days of Mahajanapadas, whoever has huge number of land, that person is considered as a headman in the village. So he divides the land into 6 equal parts. So the Grihapati divides the land into 6 equal parts. So among these 6 parts, one part he has to give whatever products, like whatever crops grow, after selling or after using, whatever he does, he has to pay the amount to the king. Okay, so even Grihapatis are supposed to pay the tax to the king. Okay, the part from where he give, no, that means it's 6 parts. No, 6 parts he have to give one part of the land as one part of the land property tax to the king there. Okay, that is known as bhaga, bhaga, bhaga. That means this Grihapati divides the agriculture land of his own land, divides into 6 equal parts, and after dividing, one part of the land products has to be given to the king in terms of tax known as bhaga. Okay, so whereas the craft persons have to work for one day in a week, one day in a month. Okay, potters will make some finest potteries, and they have to provide that to the king in terms of tax. Okay, some people like this weavers have to make the clothes for the people in the villages as well as for the kings and queens. Okay, and the other carpenters, they have to make the furnitures for the king. So these are some of the taxes, these kind of taxes people used to pay in terms of cash, because it is not easy to sell away everything directly in the market in those days, that kind of market we have today. Okay, now, and sometimes the Grihapatis, whenever they wanted to buy anything, for example from a maybe from a weaver or a potter, what they used to do is they get the thing from the, for example, Grihapati wanted to have some good quality clothes from the weaver, so he instructs him to prepare some clothes, a good kind of clothes, so he gets from them. In return, he gives some grains or vegetables to the weaver in terms of cash. That means instead of cash, he used to give them grains and pulses like that. Okay, so these were the exchanges among the people during those days. Okay, now how so here comes the 10th question, children. How are present day elections different from the way in which rulers were chosen in Janapadas? Okay, so what they are asking is how the elections is different from the present day elections as well as the compared to the Mahajanapada, that means Janapada elections. So firstly, in the Janapada elections, among the people there will be one person, like it's an hereditary basis. So the king, there will be only one person who will be one person from each family or the each royal family will be deciding to be a king. So once he decides, he has to perform some yagnyas. Okay, Ashwamedha is one of the yagnya. Okay, so they perform such kind of sacrifices, and they also sacrifice some animals before the god just to give some like they provide these animal sacrifices before the deities. Okay, and they also say like convey the same thing to the other parts of the kingdom, that so and so person is going to become king of so and so Mahajanapada. Okay, so they did not have any kind of a competition in those days. But in the present days, what we have, when it is an election, group of parties come together participating. Every group is having their own different symbols. Every most of the in these groups again, they are one person will be the head, and there are some people who are encouraging this person to be the political leader, isn't it? So this is how the election happens, and finally after the procedure of voting, there will be only one person who will be elected as a like in those days it is a king. In here we either it is a corporate, if it is a corporate or MLA or MP, whatever elections we have, we choose the one person here. Okay, and that too because of public interest only. Most of the public, if they vote for one person, that person will be the winner then. But in those days it is not like that. Okay, it's all of their own wish. Okay, next 11th question. What is similar in the ways of crops whether grown in the Mahajanapadas and how they are grown today? So children, what they are asking us, Mahajanapada time and present day elections, what is the same common things that are used in the agriculture? Farmers in present days as well as the days in the Mahajanapada times also, they used the usage of this iron things like sickle, okay, axe, are all these things which are also used in those days and these days also. Using of plows, using of bullock carts, okay, for all these things same. But in the present days we might see some machines which are like tractors and all. Okay, all these things are present generations, all these machines are used by the farmers so that in less time they can grow more, and the production does double as well as the work finishes in less time. Okay, so machines are introduced now in present days, but the little small things which are like axe or sickle are common in those days as well as this day also. Okay, so here comes the 12th question. How can you appreciate the role of natural resources in the emergence of Magadha as a powerful kingdom? Okay, they are asking why Magadha is known as the powerful kingdom. What is the reason behind that? So first thing, Magadha is a kingdom where it lies both sides with the bank of river Ganga. So Magadha is a kingdom which lies in the places of both either sides of the Magadha river water, Ganga is flowing. So as the river is flowing there, it is easy for the kingdom to get the availability of fertile soil. So that helped the Grihapatis to grow more and more agricultural crops. Okay, so the land was fertile. They could also get the water resources also for the agriculture. That means watering of plants were also useful for them. Okay, and Magadha is a kingdom where there are forests also. So they could get a forest like elephants and horses so that they can use them for the battles. And from the forest they also got some medicinal plants as well as some spices from the forest also, which they sold in the markets. And next thing is these the woods whatever are found from the forest, these woods were used for building of the palaces also. Okay, next thing, they use it to also export these things to the other countries with the help of the ports. Ports means what, like we have no places which are near the sea coast are known as port areas. Okay, next in the southern part of the Magadha kingdom there are more deposits of iron ore. That means iron deposits are found there, so that helped them to earn more and more, and that iron materials are also used for making weapons which are used in the Magadha kingdom. So all these things helped the Magadha kingdom to be very successful in terms of agriculture, in terms of making of buildings, in terms of exporting the things. Okay, this is how the agriculture as well as all this production has been success in the kingdom of Magadha, and the persons like Ajatasattu, Bimbisara, Mahapadmananda were the people who have ruled the kingdom very well, and they made the Magadha kingdom very much successful, and they are the rulers who have ruled the kingdom very well. Okay, now this is the 12th question, and finally here comes the 13th question. Locate the 16 Mahajanapadas and their capitals in the following Indian outline map. So children, what you have to do is, when you are writing all these questions in the CW, take a outline map of India, okay, and you have to write all the 16 Mahajanapadas. There are 16 Mahajanapadas in India, so you have to write their names as well as their capitals of their Mahajanapadas. So this is how you have to do. So you have to just take an outline map, and you have to, after doing, just cut the map, not with the borders, cut the map into a square and fix it to the CW. Okay, so these are the 13 questions, children, from the lesson Emergence of Kingdoms and Republics. I hope you have understood each and every question and answer very well. So we'll meet up in the next upcoming class. For any more doubts and queries, please ask us immediately. Till then, bye children. Thank you. Have a nice day.